Tottenham have played 8 matches in the Premier League so far in this young season. They've yet to lose. So, Tim, clearly Ange Postecoglou is doing a lot of things well. What's top of mind there?
He's doing a lot of things well. The team is playing fantastic. I mean, to be unbeaten at this stage is impressive. The big question coming into the season was no Harry Kane. And how are they going to cope without a legend, without someone who's a pillar of this football club? And they've gotten better without him. There's no disrespect to Harry Kane in that moment. They've just, sometimes when you have such a big player and the club isn't in a good way, when that player leaves, everyone kind of breathes a sigh of relief, and it's hard to express yourself and be yourself when you have such a powerful figure leading your football club. And so they've spent well. Ange Postecoglou is a manager who is very well versed, managed around the world. He has really good ideas about football, and that's where we get Ange ball. It gave me pause, it gave me some doubt, because they narrow up at the back, they flood numbers forward, and I just thought they're going to get hit on the counter, they're going to be very vulnerable, and that hasn't happened. But that's not by chance. They've been so good on the football that they've used it really, really well, and they haven't taken the risk that I thought Ange ball would present.
I think one of the biggest things that stands out to me is that when you look at some of Tottenham's previous managers, they didn't want to be at the club. It was as though it was, okay, I'll come because I've not got many other choices. When you now look at Postecoglou, and it's like, it's a privilege for him to be at the club. And I think that completely changes the dynamics as well. When a manager goes into a club and it's like, it's an honour for me to manage this club, I think he's empowered the players. I think in turn the players have really enjoyed that. He's created a new leadership group within the group of players. It's a group of young players. And when I look at this Tottenham team, it's a collective, but it's also a group who have a point to prove. So as I've said about managers before, not necessarily wanting to be there, having to be there because there was no other offers. I think it was the same for certain individuals, whereas now you look at young players, an opportunity to play in the Premier League the first time, point to prove. Players coming in for big money, an opportunity, but a point to prove. And a manager coming in. So all of a sudden you've created now this common goal for everybody. And if I'm a Tottenham fan, I'm absolutely delighted at the moment.
Definitely.
A lot of reasons to believe, and I like how you pointed out, Tim, you were a little, you kind of doubted at first, but the way they played won you over. There are still naysayers. I think they would say, well, 4 of their 6 wins have come against the bottom 4 teams in the Premier League. When you hear that, what do you say? I
say the games have to be won, and it's easy to say that, but when Ange Postecoglou came in and he changed everything, changed their daily routines, changed their fitness program, changed their tactics, he's given them so many new ideas and looks. And when you do that, the best way to do it is, yes, you attack it and you work hard, but the more times you can perform well and the more wins you can get, forget who they're against, it makes you start to believe in that process. And what Ange Postecoglou has done is he's given these players freedom to make mistakes. He's given them confidence. Udogie, Pop, Sarr, Romero. Romero was a guy who I just thought, he's not really a Premier League defender, and he looks the part now. And so I think that's a lot of that is down to Postecoglou. And as you mentioned, these players look like they want to play for him. He wants to be at the football club. And Tottenham, yes, they're trending at the top of the table, could go top of the table today. I don't think they're in that title race, but what they do need to do is get themselves back into the Champions League, because Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is a giant, and that's where they belong.
Yeah, and I would agree. And another thing that I would say is that when you look at Postecoglou, he's a manager. He's not making it about himself. That's been happening too often at Tottenham before. You've had managers coming out and they're calling out the players. That's never going to end well. From Postecoglou's side of things, even silly little things, when they play a home game now, they stay at home the night before a game. They're not in a hotel. So there's this element of trust. And when you give specific players trust, they're going to embrace it and they're going to pay you back. And I just feel as though this is a manager now where the players are like, if you want us to run for a brick wall, we're going to do this for you because you're meeting us in the middle. Whereas previously, I think a lot of the times, yes, the players hadn't performed, but at times they were unfairly given criticism because the manager was saying, no, this isn't me, this is on the players.
As you mentioned, Tim, quickly, you said, and it's true, if they win, they're back top of the table. The table would say they're the best team at that point. Do you think they're the best team?
Not quite. I mean, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, those are the teams that are going to be in the title race. But if the longer they can stay at the top, the more that they have a really good chance of getting themselves back into the Champions League in that top 4.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.